Shalom, everyone. It's me again, Robert Rocky. So, I'm just going to update you guys on what's happening in the world, just current affairs. So, I'm just going to watch Al Jazeera. I'll make this quite a lengthy video. Al Jazeera. I can show the Al Jazeera live, but just for now, I'm just testing out my channel. So, please bear with me for my ministry.
New season curlers have just been harvested in Matamata.
So, if you haven't
Fresh,
seen,
delicious.
I did a degree in tourism, so Matamata has nice potatoes. It's called perlas. Just marketing Wilcox potatoes. So in the weather, it's the Pacific Coast is significant weather. It's 19 in Los Angeles, 14 in Phoenix, the Phoenix Suns, and in San Francisco in California, it's 14 degrees. But let me rewind to update you on the news. In the news, there's reported taking drugs before Korean boy band, which is becoming the first non-Western act to be named as the world's best-selling artist. So in India, there's Hinduism, which is devil worship. So Hindus worship the devil. That's why it's evil in India, because they listen to Mother Teresa, who's a demon. Mother Teresa did not belong to Jesus' church. She was a devil worshiper. Mother Teresa knows that she worshipped the devil. Is only John Paul, the Jewish Pope, is the only Pope that went to heaven, as he was persecuted in the Vatican. But I'm still going to India to preach, as there is a Jewish synagogue in Mumbai. So I do prepare to preach in Mumbai one day. There's a few Gujaratis or Tamils in southern India that I love to preach to. There's the Sikh tribe in India that I like to preach to as well, and preach to them about the Seventh-day Adventist Church. So it's just a short recording that I want to share just to test my page, and I'll be sending more content to my page. I'm showing some outlets from Al Jazeera on my page as well, but I need to email the Al Jazeera CEO or the media to get copyright to share on my YouTube page. So I'll be emailing them on LinkedIn, and then I'll be commencing my ministry. So it's just a short video. And before I end, I'm a businessman as well. So I just want one quote from Mentor to Millions, which is The Secrets of Success in Business, Relationships, and Beyond, forwarded by Tom Ziegler, CEO of Ziegler Inc., and authored by Kevin Harrington and Mark Tim. So I'll be quoting from chapter 73 in this book, which is to act now in action. Politics aside, there is no better example of Kevin's ability to take action than the story of him and Donald Trump. I had these salespeople working for straight commission. Kevin told me I want to take them to trade shows and says, let's find some products here. Would find some, and then I told them, let's get some celebrities attached to these products because itself that Chinese wok might not sell. If you don't know about President Donald Trump, he's an antichrist. He made them loot and he made the Americans suffer. Donald Trump is the antichrist in the Bible. He is not good. He is not a Jew. His family are not Jews. They're Freemasons. At that time, we were starting to deal with Jack Alahines and George Foremans of the world, as said, people who say they're Jews are not. My sales team pushed back. Kevin, how are you going to get these people? They said I told them that I could get anyone. I wanted to within 7 days. 7 days, I said to Kevin. 7 days, he answered. I told him to give a chance. They told me to get to Donald Trump face to face in 7 days. And this was around 1987, the year before I was born. Right when the art of the deal came out, long before he came by the 45th President of the United States, I started with his secretary because this was the natural first step. She asked that I wanted to talk to him about, and better if I could finish the sentence, and she said, sorry, he's busy, and hung up, so I had to get creative. Tony Schwartz wrote this book of Trump. It was much easier to get on the phone. I called him up and said, Tony, you don't know me, but I said, and I seen on TV Space, I know a question for you. If I need 1,000,000 copies of your book and was willing to pay for them, could I get a wholesale price? His first response was, what was that? I told him that I might need 1,000,000 copies of the art of the deal, but I needed the best wholesale price he could give me. He asked who I was and what do I do. I told him that I sell products on TV, that people make money in real estate, but I thought that we could offer Trump's book and an upsell to the people who were talking to the time. Do you really think that you could move them? He asked. Again, I told him I need a great price along with Trump's approval, but I was confident that I could give more hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of books. Let me call you back, he said. 2 hours later, he does call me back and says, when can you come to New York and meet with Donald? I was in office 3 days later. I drove to them to Philadelphia because I want to acquire Donald Trump and lock him up in prison because he's an antichrist. He made them loot and riot in America, and that's enough for him to go in for fraudulent claims and for bias claims because I'm going to lock him up in prison for fraudulent claims. So there was Trump Tower. I got off the elevator and the secretary was right there, seated outside his offices from behind the door. I could hear him screaming at someone that golds versus silver, yelling and shouting because I have me and Yahoo. A good 20 minutes. The secretary was looking at me like, good luck, pal. Finally he shouted, where's that kid that's got something to pitch me? Get him in here, right now. The secretary and I looked at each other again, and I went in. The first thing I did was reach for the chair to take a seat. Trump said, wait a minute, don't sit down. You're here to pitch me something. I don't know what it is. Before you get to start, if I would say yes to your pitch, how much of the time you're going to need and what is my upside? Because if you don't have the right to answer, you're going to turn around and get the hell out of my office. So it was put on and shut up time. And I said, if you said this to my proposal, I need maybe 3 to 4 hours of time, and you could make sure $4 million. I came up with it quickly because I knew it had to be good. Short time, big money. He waited for about 5 seconds, and he said, okay, sit down. We spent an hour together. My basic pitch to him was that they were to use it in the information to sell real estate opportunities. I actually walked out of the door with a handshake. By the time they got to the lawyers and everything else, the deal was never happened. Trump didn't want to actually appear in the infomercial. He told Kevin just wanted to sell his content. But the point is that Kevin didn't have an elaborate plan when he ended up in front of Trump. He didn't even have the elaborate plan to get that meeting. He took action. The end result was beyond his control. But as good as keep fear of failure, putting him in a state of analysis paralysis, put him in Trump's office. Trump is an antichrist. He made Trump supporters riot in Washington, so I want to lock him up in prison. I can email Mossad through the library because he is an antichrist. He make America riot. He deserves to be locked up in prison for life for murder. He's no longer in power. It's Joe Biden in power, so it's left-wing politics. So let's keep the faith, Kamala Harris, and make sure the Democrats stay in power in caucus or in office. So thanks for watching, guys. Peace, shalom, and ta-da. Ta-da.